So we have our next problem here. We have division and multiplication, and always remember PEMDAS. Parentheses first, which means you look inside the parentheses, simplify the parentheses as much as possible. So what does that mean? So we have, obviously we're going to cube that quantity at the end. We have 5, which is 5 over 1, divided by 5 halves times 1/4. We have 5 over 1. The division changes to multiplication. We flip the fraction right next to the division sign, so that becomes a 2/5. And then we have times 1/4. And at the end, after we've simplified the entire expression, we're going to cube that quantity. So what do we mean by simplification? We mean cancel all common factors. So you're left with 2 times 1, and we know that 4 is 2 times 2. We have more to cancel before we cube it. So it's important to reduce the number to the simplest form possible, and then think about the next step, which is cubing. So what is the meaning of cubing a number? It's repeated multiplication of the number 3 times. So that is 1 times 1 times 1. Let's just write it down. Divided by 2 times 2 times 2. So that is 1 divided by 8. Now let's look at the next question. It says, how many sixths are in 4/3? So let's just try to understand the problem by thinking in terms of whole numbers. How many So if I say how many 2's in 24, it's the same as saying how many times does 2 go into 24, which is 24 divided by 2 equals 12. If I say how many 3's in 24, you go 24 divided by 3 is 8. 8 3's are 24. So when you divide 24 by 3, you get 8. So how many sixths in 4/3? Which means 4/3 is divided into sixths. So what we're doing is a problem in division of fractions. So we have 4/3 times 6 over 1. What do we do next? We make sure that all common factors are cancelled before we combine all the numbers or multiply all the numbers. So we cancel common factors first. Only after we've confirmed that there are no more common factors between the numerator and denominator, we multiply all the numbers. So we have answered the question. The question said, how many sixths are in 4/3? There are 8 sixths in 4/3. Let's double check. If I multiply 8 with the sixth, I need to make sure that I get a 4/3. So let's see. 8 is 4 times 2. 6 is 3 times 2. We cancel the 2's and we get 4/3. So there are 8 sixths in 4/3. So read the next question. It says, lots are being sold in increments of 3/4. What that means is a developer who has 60 acres is not going to sell 60 lots 1 acre each. So if I want to divide 60 acres, into 1 acre lots, then I can sell 60 lots because I'm dividing 60 acres by 1 acre, and that gives me 60 lots. What if I wanted to sell in 2 acre lots? In which case I would have to divide 60 acres into 2 acre lots. What that means is I'm dividing 60 by 2. The acres cancel, and I have 30 lots that are 2 acres each. So dealing with whole numbers is easier. So first explain the problem to yourself using whole numbers, and then the solution to the problem involving fractions becomes easier. So what are we going to do now? We're going to take 60 acres and divide it into 3/4 acre lots. The acres get cancelled because of division. We're trying to calculate the number of lots, so that makes 60 times 4/3. So 60 over 1 times 4 over 3. So let's simplify this completely. So we have 6 times 10, which is 60 times 4 divided by 3. That's equal to 3 times 2 is 6 times 10 times 4 divided by 3. We cancel the 3's, we are left with 80 lots. Multiply all the numbers. 10 times 4 is 40, 40 times 2 is 80. So it's 80 lots. So the way you interpret the problem is if the developer is going to sell lots that are 3/4 of an acre each, then we'd have to divide the 60 acres into 3/4 acre lots. And when we do the division, we get the number of lots that he can sell. So let's read this question. So we have a bookshelf that is 36 inches long. So we have a bookshelf that is 36 inches long. Okay. And we want to arrange books on the shelf. Okay. So the books, let's imagine, looks like this. Okay, so we're going to arrange books on this bookshelf. Now we have to think about whether we can place 24 books where each book is about 5/4 of an inch thick. So if we line up 24 books, and what's the thickness of each book? It's 3/4 of an inch thick. I'm sorry, it's 5/4 of an inch thick. So notice that if each book is 5/4 of an inch thick, how many books can we fit in this shelf? So there are so many different ways in which we can think about it. So one possibility, let's start with this first method. We're going to think about just the books. And if we line them up, how long will this be? So you're lining up these books. You're holding them vertical and then putting it into the shelf. And each book is 5/4 of an inch thick. So 24 books will be 24 times 5/4 of an inch thick. So if each book, let's say we had 24 books, if each book was 1 inch, it would be 24 inches. If each book was 2 inches, it would be 24 times 2, 48 inches. If we had to arrange them in that way. But now it's a fraction, So 24 times 5/4 of an inch is what is going to give us this total length. So let's multiply 24 with 5/4. So 6 4s are 24 times 5 divided by 4 inches. So that's equal to 30 inches. So if it is 30 inches and the bookshelf is 36 inches, then definitely we can fit all of these 24 books into the shelf. We can arrange them in the shelf. Another way of thinking about this is, how many books (5/4 of an inch thick) can fit into the shelf that is 36 inches long? Which means I take 36 inches and I divide it into 5/4 inch. The inches get cancelled because one number is in the numerator, the other is in the denominator because of this division. And what I get as an answer is just a count or a number. So we change division to multiplication. We get 36 times 4/5. And we're going to simplify this. Nothing cancels. So we multiply the 36 and the 4. So 6 times 4 is 24, 4 3s are 12, 13, 14, divided by 5. So the number of books we can fit into a 36-inch long shelf would be whatever number we get when we divide 144 by 5. So 5 times 2 is 10. 4, bring the 4 down. 5 times 8 is 40. Subtract, and you get 4 as a remainder. So roughly 5 goes 28 times. So 28 whole books would fit into the shelf, leaving a little bit of space or a little bit of room in that shelf.